but I've had a strange path along the way, you know. So I graduated with my degree and was supposed to be a high school history teacher, and I ended up meeting this band called the Flaming Lips. I was working at a record store the whole time I went to college. I was working at this record store, and they shopped there, and we became friends. And you know, through time, I ended up becoming their manager. You got to remember that. I mean, this is before the Flaming Lips were really, you know, a big deal, you know, in a way. And so they just literally shopped in my record store. We were living at this duplex, and I was on one side, and a couple of the guys from the Lips were on the other side. And we were there, and the phone rang, and Jonathan, the guitar player at the time, picked up the phone, and he was like, looked scared, and then immediately hung up the phone. And I was like, well, you know, what was that, you know? And the phone rang again. He was like, you pick it up, you pick it up. I was like, so I picked it up. I was like, hey, this is Tony from Warner Brothers Records, and don't hang up. This is really Warner Brothers Records. And so I ended up talking to her, and she wanted to set up a show for this A&R person to come see him. This was a Monday, and the show was on a Wednesday. And so I was like, well, I think I can figure it out. And we set up this show in Norman at a venue called Rome 90, which was an old movie theater. And took her to the show and loved it. You know, she thought they were great. But even at that time, I wasn't their manager or anything. I was just their friend. And as I was driving her back to the hotel, she asked me, she said, you know, do the guys have a lawyer? And I was like, yeah, they do have a lawyer. Do they have a booking agent? No, well, we'll have to help them find one. Do they have a manager? And I went, no, they don't. And Roberta said, you know, you should be the manager. And I was like, I don't really know, you know, I work in a record store. What do I know about this? And she said, and you know how to talk to people. You know, these guys trust you. I was like, yeah, they do. You know? And then she said, I like you. That's good enough for Warner Brothers. And that was really the first time I thought maybe I could be something other than a guy who ran a record store or a high school history teacher. Not that this is better than those things. It's just different. And it was more along the lines of what I really wanted to do, you know, whether I knew it or not. So that's really the beginning of me becoming the Flaming Lips manager. It wasn't, you know, until a couple months later that I was just kind of helping them do things. And I heard one of the guys on the phone say, oh yeah, you need to talk to our manager, Scott. And that's how I discovered I was the Flaming Lips manager.